The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Just pulled it out. I got all the trim off. What a fucking mess. Like all body work, it looks worse before it gets better. Trim was a bitch. Had used a death wheel to get some of the brackets off. I've got to take this off, but they're easy to remove, but some of them, there's a nut behind there, and you have to like somehow get your hand in there in the netherworld, get that nut and loosen it for the trim to come off that way. It doesn't always work as easily. Sometimes they're all just crowed together as one piece, so you have no choice but to pull the trim off the clip and cut this off and pound it through so it drops in. Had to do that to a few of them. You have no choice in this matter, they're so corroded. But Auto Value's got little plastic black body clips that work just as good with the barbed tail end. I'm going to substitute the factory ones with those ones. And they fit the holes just fine. So I'll just use those to put the trim back on. Slowly but surely, it's going to look nice.
I'm calling.
crimson red with white trim and white tailpipes, white badging and white side lettering on the tires. Just enough two-tone action to complement each other. Chrome lug nuts, solid color, no metal flake or nothing, no metallic. Simple yet effective. The badges on the front were gold, and the badges on the side pillar were silver, so I just painted them uniformly white, so it matches the theme. Kind of like the idea of doing that to the hood ornament, but I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Mind you, I'm not an auto body guy. Never went to school. I'm all self-taught, and I did all this to the best of my ability in a storage garage of all places. This ain't no chip foose build or none of the sort. Just a crafty SOB with some ideas and finally put it to use. Now we move into the inside of it all. Carpet looks damn good, seats look damn good, rear seats look damn good. Even the rear deck plate, you know, where the speakers are, that looks damn good. Mind you, this was a farm car once. Mice for having sex in it. You wouldn't tell from now how it looks. Headliner's damn good, at least by my standards. And it's modular, so it's easy to work on. So it is formal and functional. Very simple but effective. Just the overall tone of red is very cozy looking. And the cover pieces for the speakers, it just ties it all together. Overall, it was a big success. This is how I was thinking about it. Since I got the car when it was two-tone, I wanted to look something like this. Now to the rear side of the car. The white tailpipes, I think, complements it, along with the other white doodads that are around it, trinkets and whatnot. Gotta have a vintage bumper sticker. Now the rear plate that says Mercury was two-toned. It's fucking painted over. I used acetone to wipe off the paint over the chrome lettering, so it's an easy but tedious task or job. Overall, it's one of the nicest cars I've ever, driven around. Every once in a while, even a person like me should have a nice car to show off, and even though I usually drive bastard cars, this is going to be the exception. I mean, I'll have plenty of cars that'll come and go, but one or two should at least be nice. It's kind of got that, I like the Hall Liquor moonshine in the backwoods appeal to it. It's a whiskey runner look, and I like it. Just enough flair to give it some attitude, but doesn't look like anything else on the road, so it's got its own personality and character, and I couldn't be more happier with it. It's a pretty day today, so I'm going to a car show, probably the only one this year I've actually been to. It's about an hour and a half out of town, so I gotta do a little checks and whatnot to make sure it's all ready to go. 7 psi radiator cap's gonna go in, replace this 13 psi. Better to blow the cap than the whole radiator. And I've noticed it dripping too, so not from there. I haven't even looked where it was dripping, but I'm going to lessen the pressure at least. I'll keep that in the box just in case. I had to whip out my old Fleet Farm battery because the one I swapped in here from Walmart didn't, it took a shit on me. Barely cranked over the motor. It was $40. So just gonna top off the coolant, switch out the battery. Necessities, make sure it's ready for the road. It's about a 70-mile trip one way. Coolant to top off. Yeah, it's, I mean, it just needs to be topped off. It's not dangerously low. Power steering fluid, I'll add some of that. Oh yeah, we're good. We'll just aim that there, and we're gonna put that other cap on. Go to the parts getter. Oh yeah, I got light bulbs for this car. I spray painted over the turn signals and brake lights, the bulbs I mean, by mistake, so I ain't gonna bother cleaning them off. They're relatively cheap. So, just got more bulbs. I've been doing this trick for years. What's a radiator cost you these days? About $200-300 bucks? Maybe 150 at the cheapest. This is only like $6. You know, little shit like that, you know. Yep, we're good. It's topped off. Should work. There we go. Yeah, right on that lip, so we'll keep this as a spare, just in case. Gotta top off the power steering fluid. Yeah, it's pretty dry, so one of these should do it. Gotta work in that fluid. So I got the fluids checked out, got the light bulbs mostly done. More troubleshooting. They do work. I mean, for the turn signals, I have to manually go up and down for it to do the blinking action. Some of the light bulbs are broken inside its socket, so that might be the reason why it's causing some discrepancy here. But you know, the lights do show up when the headlights are on, so they work, but they don't really. Good enough for a trip when, you know, during the day at least. You know, rub some awesome on this, give it some gas, and we'll get up and go. Fire extinguisher, just for, well, any car should carry them. I'll vacuum this out once more. Got some tools with me. So, I'll give it some shit and some gas. Oh, off to the car show. Well, we're hauling ass now. Cruising pretty good. Going at about 70-75 miles an hour. The weather seals are just shot in this fucking thing. It's just one more thing I gotta do over time is replace all the weather seals. When I got this thing up at around 70-75, it's pretty close to 40 psi in the oil. So we're doing pretty good. And GPS says I'll be there on time, so good day for a car show, I know that much. Oh, we got some slow drivers today. That's the thing about these country roads. You'll have people that are hell-bent and only doing like 50, 55, and you can easily do 70. No, we ain't doing that. We're doing about 80 now. Ease it back down to 75. That fucker was only doing around 50. I don't got time to wait behind people like that. On the way home, I don't care, but I want to get to this car show on time. Pretty good car show. Already did all the walking around, so I'm just gonna sit my ass down. Mercury handled the trip just fine. Just ate a lot of gas like an old fat ass car would. Yeah, it's a pretty good day for a car show. Maybe the only one I go to this year, but we'll see. Might end up taking it more whenever anything that turns up and the weather permits it. Heading back now. Now I can just cruise. I was kind of exploring it before. I was doing about 80 at some spots. Really pushing the old Mercury, but it handled it just fine. Now I'm just cruising it back at around 60. Enjoying it for what the car's built for, just cruising and owning the roads. Yeah, I got the windows up again just to cut down the wind, but it's getting fucking hot in here. 65 degrees today, but it's a balmy 97 inside this car, but that's what I have to do until I get the heater core blocked off or replaced. One of the two. You know, the car handled it just fine. The paint's looking good. Haven't clear coated it yet. I gotta sand it lately with like 1,000 or 1,200 grit. Clean it up and then clear coat it, and that'll be it for the paint. No road debris chipped it as I thought it would. Just some bugs hitting it, but they ain't hurting it. It's about another hour or so and back home, so via GPS.
In half a mile, turn left onto Main Street Northeast.
Oh, you heard the digital lady. Half a mile, gonna hit Main Street East. No rain, barely any clouds, barely any wind. It couldn't be any better for a car show today. I hope there's others.
Turn left onto Main Street Northeast.
The GPS is helpful, but never knows when to shut the fuck up. I only need to hear it once.
Continue on Main Street Northeast for 2 miles.
When I get back into town, I'll go underneath the hood and see if everything looks the same underneath there. Any new leaks or whatnot. See, that's how you really tell all these old fuckers handle when you put them on the road and you give them the quote-unquote Italian tune-up. An Italian tune-up is where you just take a car, any car really, put it on the highway and give it the taters at around 65 to 75 miles an hour, and you hold it for about a half hour to an hour. You're basically just getting it back into shape, burning out the old carbon and just getting things back the way they're supposed to. And I've basically kept this car around town since I brought it home. So this car is in a desperate need of that Italian tune-up. I passed a few cars on the highway that were hell-bent on being slow, way too slow for a highway, so this car's doing alright. Okay, we're back home. Let's see what it looks like underneath the hood. The motor sounds pretty happy to me. I got its Italian tune-up, so put her away, undo the battery, and let it sit for a little while. Get like a wash rag and some warm water and just wipe off the bugs. Overall, I don't know, 60 something miles times 2. I probably put 120, 130 miles on it today, so handled it just fine. Well, maybe it's final clip of this video, for this car at least. Some guy wants to give me enough money for it, I'll say yeah. I mean, the Valdez and Hades and the red Chariot, they all need their attention, especially Hades, and this car is almost done anyway, so I like the car, but I'm not overly attached to it, you know, sentimental wise, so this may be the last video of it. Oh well, you know, money's good. And I've been wanting to focus on Hades for the last few years, but I keep working every other fucking car in the universe, so this is just one of them. So whatever money I get for this, if it's the right price, well, we'll focus on my other projects. So that works out. Sending her on its way, getting a few gallons of gas. The new owner gave me enough money. I said yeah. So a couple of grand later, last voyage. Oh well, the money will go to the Exxon Valdez. Suck to see this thing go, but it'll have a good home. Fucking sweet. Well, you know, all that just about sums it up for the Mercury saga. From top to bottom, start to finish, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything else in between. So as we speak, as I'm talking to you right now, what the fuck is with its fate? How is it at this moment? So let me reveal that part to you, its ultimate conclusion. Truth be told, I sold the car a little while ago to some guy for an X amount of money. He just drove off with the damn thing. Couldn't tell if it was living or dead. in a demolition derby or a museum of sorts. I would never know. I'm never going to know. You know, I wasn't kidding when I said earlier how I brought that Cadillac home. I was originally looking for Oldsville parts. Wasn't planning on doing what I did, but it happened. Life happens. One car versus another. And the Mercury, in its defense at the time, was mostly done anyhow compared to the Cadillac, which was abandoned for 22 years. So it needed more time and attention. So it's time for the Mercury to see other pastures with new owners and to see the world, I guess. If it's still fucking alive, for all I fucking know. But in its wake, I have my memories. In the form of a scrapbook, no less. I plan on doing this for all my cars, but this one's all about the Mercury. You know, all the priceless memories a guy can make about his car are in this book. From the first day I found it to the last day I gave it up. It's all in here. You know what? Between me and you, I think I can go reminisce for a little while. Look back on the day when I brought that car home and think about everything else I went with it. It's a car I had for a little while, but I had a good time at least for a little while.